Here we go. All right. Bears state of affairs, off-season week 22, stadium battle. What's happening, Barflies? Well, the dust hasn't even settled on the Arlington Park demolition, and the Bears are already sleeping around. Metaphorically speaking, of course. Yeah, shortly after the Bears closed on the Arlington Heights property and former horse racing park, friction began with the Arlington Heights Village Council. This led to Naperville's Mayor Scott Worley approaching the Bears about developing a stadium. Yeah, Tuch's hometown. And not only that, but as recently as yesterday, far north suburban Waukegan's Mayor Ann Taylor has thrown her town's hat into the ring in hopes of partnering up with the Bears on a new stadium deal. It appears that intrepid towns outside of Chicago want to be a part of the Bears and the excitement of the NFL. But Bears fans have to wonder, what is the Arlington Heights Village Council thinking? With plenty of tax revenue to be made, are they willing to pass up having a world-class stadium in their town? Apparently, yes. The main sticking point has been the village's reluctance to have any of the stadium financed by the residents and taxpayers. And you really can't blame them either. There will likely need to be improvements in local infrastructure, if not now, then at the very least over time as problems with roads and transportation begin to surface. While both Naperville and Waukegan have plenty to offer, Waukegan seems to make a bit more sense. It's conveniently close to Hallis Hall, and many Bears players live in the north suburbs. As well, the city of Waukegan says that they have lakefront property available, which would provide a great backdrop to the Bears' new stadium. Waukegan also has Interstate 94 and Highway 41 nearby, and they also have their own metro stop. And if that weren't enough, the city is home to a national airport. Mayor Taylor also mentioned in her letter to the Bears that Waukegan was previously home to the Bears' winter training facility in the early 90s. While the Bears' new stadium is years away from being built, the Bears never seem to be void of off-season drama. And all of this is likely a shrewd business tactic of Kevin warning the Bears to try and leverage the best deal out of Arlington Heights. It makes sense. After years of seeing most of the revenue from tickets and food and beverage scales go to the Chicago Park District, bottom line, it's clear that the Bears want to be free of their deal with the city of Chicago, free from the NFL's smallest stadium, and into a stadium complex that they own free and clear like so many other NFL franchises. In other news, the Bears started mandatory minicamp today. Voluntary OTAs ended last week, and of course, the spotlight is firmly fixed on QB1, Justin Fields. Will he take that next step? Will he bust out? Believe it or not, after last season's breakout performance, some moronic Bears fans still point to Fields' last season record of 3-14. Guys, is Justin Fields supposed to win every game by himself? Did you forget this is a team sport? Look, it's highly possible that JF1 makes the Pro Bowl this season. After all, last year's Pro Bowl NFC quarterbacks were Jalen Hurts, well-deserved, and Kirk Gibson and Geno Smith. Hey, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are both gone from the NFC. I'm sitting here thinking Fields is a lock to make the Pro Bowl and looking for the sports book that has the best odds. Lock it in. All right, this season, Fields has some legitimate weapons to make his case for the Pro Bowl. The connection between DJ Moore and Fields in OTAs has generated a ton of excitement. Don't forget, he also has Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool. Mooney is coming back from a serious injury, though, and Claypool is currently battling soft tissue injuries and is currently sidelined. Never fear, though, fourth-round rookie Tyler Scott is here, and he has been turning heads. Here's what Bears wide receiver coach Tyke Tolbert said about Tyler Scott. His speed shows up, his suddenness shows up, and his moves and run after the catch show up. He can catch a ball, make a guy miss, turn around, get going really fast, like 0 to 60. Obviously, he has deep speed, and his knowledge, he doesn't make the same mistake twice. I know Dan Aguirre's getting fired up after hearing that. This is very good news. Now, if we could only bolster that pass rush. Yeah, Ryan Poles has yet to make a move in the pass rush department. And Bears fans are certainly feeling like an acquisition is coming any day now. Could it be Yannick Ngakoue? Perhaps the Bears want to take a look at Takaris McKinley. The defensive end and former first-round draft pick was recently released by the Dallas Cowboys in a surprising move. Remember, last offseason, Poles signed another former first-round pick in Alex Leatherwood. Or will Poles stay put with free agent signings DeMarcus Walker and Rasheem Green? And holdovers Travis Gibson and Dominique Robinson. All these questions and more are building as the team marches towards July training camp. And that is Bears State of Affairs. And I got Dan Aguirre here. And I got special guest tonight, man. Let's go, Danny.
Oh, I'm here. I thought you were going to the intro. So I was
gonna, yeah. Am I supposed to? I should do that.
I will stay in the on deck circle.
Here we go, Danny.
Honestly, we just see you, Tooch.
Or not. I don't know why it's not playing.
Put the children to bed. It's time for Dan and Aldo to bare their souls.
I love the Chicago Bears more than I do masturbating, and that is a lot.
Then, with 3 seconds left, Bob Avellini throws a 30-something-yard touchdown pass to Greg Latta, and the Bears win, and I literally shit my pants. I swear to God, I literally did.
Eric Kramer, for me, I love the guy. He's a tragic figure. I mean, he embodies all that is.
If they don't run the ball here, I'm going to vomit. I swear to God.
Look, I don't mean any disrespect. He just didn't play that well. Not for a guy of his caliber.
You know, they won, but I'm going to be miserable all week because they stunk.
I don't really have any recollection of that at all, but I guess perhaps I blacked it all out.
So, Dan, tape is the ultimate tool for scouts and for coaches to evaluate players, to detect plays and so forth. And they spend hours looking at tape, right? Why do they so often get shit wrong?
I love the efficiency of bourbon.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan and Aldo.
Well, there's no Aldo.
We're putting the band back together.
We got the band back together, Danny.
What's up?
Welcome to I Have a Stream.
I've got a quote to lead you all off. Does everyone want a hard-on? Would you like an erection? Would you want to be sexually excited by a quote? Because I've got one for you.
I just turned 55, so yes.
Lay it on me.
Happy belated birthday. We shouted you out last week on air. Bears.
Yeah, buddy.
The Bears, Justin Jones. Now, again,
I was just reading this.
Justin Jones is a guy I'm like, this guy's a bum. Why don't we cut him? I should buy his jersey now. Quote, Justin Jones about the Green Bay Packers. Their fans are really shitty. I wanted to go back up there. I wanted to play them, and I wanted to beat them, and I wanted Aaron Rodgers to be there so he could see it. The fact he's gone, I mean, it's cool, I guess. It's better for him not to be there, end quote. How about that?
I like it, man.
I'm not really buying his jersey, but I'm glad that he hates Green Bay. Let's go get a win opening day, for fuck's sake.
God,
It's so strange, Danny, that you would mention jerseys because I had this like loaded up here. I wanted to ask you, look at this. The top 10 highest selling jerseys of all time. Look at number 7.
Look at number 4.
Yeah, 4 is crazy.
What
the hell?
Dak Prescott has outsold Walter Payton?
I know. How many
Tim
of you guys
Tebow?
Tim Tebow sold more jerseys than
Who has a
Gronk?
Tebow jersey? My goodness.
God. Is it the Tim Tebow Denver jersey or is it his like New York Jets jersey?
It's got to be the Denver jersey. He won a playoff game in Denver.
No, I
Against
know
us.
Dan does, but who else has a Walter Payton jersey?
I do.
So just Aaron, I don't have really any jerseys, but I wish I did. But maybe I should
still have
get
a Mac
a
jersey
I
laying
should
around.
get like a Lance
I've got a
Briggs
Mac jersey,
jersey
too.
for my 55th birthday. Right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we can get you a Toots jersey.
I can't drive 55, Joe. Well, hey, in case you didn't know, the guy in the upper right corner is my radio son, Joe Mandel. He is the star and host of South Burbs Hitman, where you can hear all the White Sox talk that you want to hear. You can get your fill.
That's right. Every Monday night here on the Bar
Every
Room
Monday
Network.
night. I saw you and Vinny last night on Twitter when I listened. I was listening for a little while of you and Vinny, but unfortunately, I got the Dodgers tonight, Joey.
I don't blame you. I think you can probably take them in the next 3.
Before we get, I'm super excited to have my radio son here, of course, Aaron, and to be back with Dan Aguirre after my birthday last weekend, taking the night off. Although gave me the night off, the barkeeper. But I told you in text, Joe, how excited I was to get your opinion on the Bears, because I don't think I've talked Bears with you in like a year. So the first,
yeah, man.
First thoughts about the upcoming season.
You know, I've seen some comments in the chat about the wide receiver room, and I think that's the one thing I'm most excited about right now is we have some serious weapons and we have some folks to block for the offense. I'm excited to see what this room can do. I mean, DJ Moore is an elite talent. He looks like he's got a chip on his shoulder, and the Fields DJ Moore connection is got me pretty fired up for this Bears season. I mean, do I think that this team is going to win 14 games? No, I think, I think we're looking at best case scenario, and this is probably crazy on my part, but 10, 11 games, best case scenario.
Yep.
Okay. I'm with you, Joe. I thought you were about to say 5, 6. I was going to say no. Okay. I'm okay with you though.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
awesome.
saying best case scenario. Worst case scenario, I'm going where Dan just was, but I'd be happy to see 10 or 11, and that offense is improving. We have some O-line help, and most of all, Justin Fields in development mode and full on becoming a superstar in this league. And when I say development mode, I don't mean like developing and becoming a decent quarterback. I mean developing into a superstar is what I mean.
Danny, Heidi Zimmerman in the chat room tonight.
Heidi.
I love me some Heidi. Heidi's supposed to come in potentially for the barroom event the day before the Raiders game. So I'm putting you on notice, Joe. Are you going to be there this year?
In Vegas?
No, in Chicago, the day before the Raiders game, which is at Soldier Field. Aldo's going to have a get-together like last year and bring all the barroom people, personalities together.
Okay, let me put this on my calendar. What day is this?
October 21st.
I will drive out for that, Danny.
It's going on.
Aaron, I would love it if you were there, but you said you were not going to the game now.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to make it. I can't make it out there.
I will drive out and pick up Tormund and bring him to Chicago.
You got to come back this way. Probably not going to happen, but yeah.
I will drive the opposite way for 2
There you
hours.
go. And then go back that way.
And
right?
then go back.
It's on my calendar now, Dan. I have plenty of advance notice, so I should be there this time.
Yeah, you live in Michigan now, right?
I do.
So how far of a drive is that for you?
I love St.
Oh,
Joe's.
it's about an hour and a half.
Oh, that's
an hour and a half, an hour and 45. I'm just over the Michigan border.
Okay.
I love St. Joe's, Joe. I was there. I did a whole tour of the Glove with my kids and wife. We drove up, around. Back when I lived in Illinois, we drove up around the Glove. Saugatuck.
Saugatuck, yeah.
Yeah, up to Traverse City, Petoskey, Charlevoix, and back down again and back around. But had Petoskey, nice beach up there. You get the Petoskey stones and everything.
Got to get some Silver Beach pizza, Tooch. That's what it's all about.
I went to Saugatuck Brewing. I think I raised a beer to you there.
There you go, man. Yeah, I'm an old coworker of ours, Sean. I'm sure you remember Sean. We're meeting up in July. We're going to Journeyman Distillery in Three Oaks.
Very nice. Very nice. Joe, could we get you on record for your best guess? Vegas over under 7.5 victories for the Bears. Over or under?
Over.
All right. Nice. Like to hear it. Danny and I said last time I was on, there's like 11 wins out there, Danny, for the Bears.
I don't want to be
my number.
Yeah, I don't want to like stick my chest out and pound on it and say we're going to win 11 games this year, especially when you come from last season when we lost the most ever consecutive games in the history of the franchise. But maybe that was like, we have to lose before you can win kind of thing. Like,
sure.
We got the training wheels off now. It's time to win some games for the love of God.
It got us DJ Moore and a bunch of other stuff. So
it didn't mean it wasn't painful going through it.
Oh, it was painful. It was definitely painful. I'll give you that, Dan.
I got dumped in Chicago after the Dolphins game, and we haven't won a game since. Like, it's like I blame Jenny. You whore! No, I'm just kidding. But as soon as she broke up, we haven't won a game. I tell people that I'm like, no, I don't mean I'm not exaggerating. Like we've only won a couple, or we lost a lot. We've lost every game since the Miami one. Every game, and actually the week before that in Dallas. So. But haven't won a game since I got dumped.
Well, I mean,
Danny,
that's going to change soon, Dan. It's going to change.
Hopefully, opening day.
The Rodgers-less Packers.
I don't care who's playing. The Green Bay uniform is there. I don't care if it's Bart Starr, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, or Jordan Love. I'm going to respect all of them and be afraid of them. But I just want to win somehow, and I don't want to get anybody hurt in the process. Like, oh, you won opening day, but Justin broke his leg. No, I don't want that. But I want the Bears to win and get the regime going the right way.
I love it.
All right. Danny, your thoughts on the Bears positions and any battles going on as we head into mandatory minicamp?
I saw today that Lucas Patrick was getting some snaps at center. That makes me happy. I am a huge detractor of Cody Whitehair. As much as I like him, we drafted him, in the second round, eons ago now, like 2016 or something like that. I've rooted for him. If he's there, I'm going to continue to root for him. But he's always been a part of bad offensive lines, and that's when he's at guard. And he's been particularly bad at center. And I don't care if he was a Pro Bowl alternate one year. 12 people had to miss for him to make the Pro Bowl and decide not to play. Mitch made the Pro Bowl that year, too. You're going to tell me Trubisky's a fucking Pro Bowl quarterback other than Mike North? Nobody's going to say that. And I love Mike North. I'm just saying. I don't want Whitehair being the center. So I don't know what we have in Lucas Patrick because he was hurt from the jump last year. The first practice in July, he got hurt. But on paper, I will take him over Cody Whitehair. So I'm glad to see him getting some reps.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Tooch, we got a departure in the division as well. I don't know if we want to talk about this later on or not. Another departure. The Vikings released Dalvin Cook.
Yeah. Top destinations for Dalvin Cook. Joe?
Miami, New England. New England let go of James Robinson. I don't know if you saw that. I think they're making room for Dalvin Cook, if I'm being honest. Let's see. The Texans are always a plan. Maybe not the Texans. No.
What about
the Jets? The Jets, the Buccaneers. So for me, it's Miami, the Jets. Who else did I just say?
Patriots.
I think
this dude's always hurt, man. I don't want to talk any shit and he'd go somewhere and then run for 300 on us, but he's always hurt. Yeah, he's got potential, but he's always hurt. I would rather have Fournette from Tampa Bay. Of course, the Bears aren't going to sign him anyway, but
Fournette.
And I would Cook.
I think Fournette's more likely to go to the Jets because the Jets are in a place to win now, and it's going to cost a lot of money for Dalvin Cook. Leonard Fournette is not going to cost a crazy amount compared to
Fournette's a free agent?
Yes.
I did not know that. Aaron, thoughts on where Aaron Rodgers, you'd like to see him go any place but the NFC North, I assume?
You mean Dalvin Cook?
Dalvin Cook. What did I say?
You said Aaron Rodgers.
Honestly,
AFC
Raiders.
now.
Yeah.
I was reading some. I was actually. It's funny because I was reading something earlier. I pulled it back up now. There's some line of thought that they think Josh Jacobs is going to get into a contract battle with Las Vegas, and
Good call.
whether if they don't sign him, there's rumors that they may looking at Dalvin Cook, maybe looking at the Raiders, vice versa.
I could see that.
See, for me, it'd be if we went to the Jets, it'd be a hedge on Breece Hall's injury.
Recovering from the ACL, right?
Right, and after that, they don't really have much after Breece Hall. I forget the other kid's name that was
the Vegas favorite Tooch currently is indeed the Jets to land Dalvin Cook.
That would make the most sense. So Aaron Rodgers can, like Dan said, he's not handing off to exactly a reliable guy. I don't think he's played a full season.
Tooch, people are also forgetting as well. Dalvin Cook going on trial this August for his alleged beating of his ex-girlfriend. Easily could be suspended 3 to a full season. I don't think it'll be a full season at this point, but I think you're looking at least 3 to 4 games.
What's up with the Minnesota Vikings running backs, man? If it's, remember AP was a child abuser.
With the branch.
The Minnesota running backs love to beat people, whether it's women or kids. Jesus, they're going to bring out a story and say Chuck Foreman used to beat people next, right?
I used to love
I don't
Chuck
know, man.
I'm kidding. Chuck's a legend. Chuck is above that. So the other two, not so much. Allegedly.
That's right.
Danny, your thoughts on where you think Dalvin Cook will end up?
It may be the Jets, because it's going to be like trying to get like the way LeBron was with the Heat. Let's get all my friends over here and help. And it does. Look, I don't want to talk any shit. And then Rodgers won the championship. But if he did win a title, at least it would be away from Green Bay. So that would be okay. And I don't have any historical malice toward the Jets. So if I'm rooting against them because of him, but I don't think they're going to win. Like who's he going to blame when they lose? This honeymoon's going to, and we know who he is. He's a guy that the way everyone said Cutler was mercurial and he pouted and kept to himself. Rodgers does that times 50 and never gets blamed for it. None of his teammates usually like him other than Randall Cobb. That's because they've blown each other. I mean, I'm just saying, I think Rodgers and the Jets will be like 8-9, not make the playoffs, and he'll blame everybody else on the team but himself.
Man, Dan, I hope you're right, but I think I disagree with you. I think this Jets team is going to be really good. I hate saying it, but the defense is great. He's got some of the best wide receivers he's had, and they just have, and especially if they add a Dalvin Cook or even a Leonard Fournette, you're looking at a really, really dangerous team.
Yeah. Danny, I want to get your thoughts. Last night, the Denver Nuggets won the NBA Finals. Your thoughts on?
It's good to see a new team, even though when Milwaukee won a few years ago, they kind of felt like a new team because they hadn't won since Jabbar was there when he was Lou Alcindor, for fuck's sake. By the way, sub-reference to August 6th, Winning Time Season 2 on HBO.
Yes. Did Joe see Winning Time?
I did not see Winning Time.
Aaron,
you should
Winning
catch
Time.
up on it.
Nah, not really something I'd watch.
So good,
oh, man.
I'm a Righteous Gemstones fan. That comes back next week.
The Winning Time is the story of the Lakers, albeit not exactly
slightly
biographical or historically
slightly fictionalized. Yeah,
Which Perlman has been on our show, and he stands by his work. So let's just say that. But to answer your question, it was good to see a team that hadn't won ever in the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Miami, again, if you were going to say if the Heat were going to win it to come from the 8th seed and former Chicago Bull Butler there, that would have been cool. But they won a championship with Shaq and Wade. They won another one, LeBron. So, they've already had their time. It was good to see the Nuggets team who's never won anything. I mean, it feels like they hadn't been significant in the playoffs since like Alex English was their star. I mean, I guess they had a little run there with Anthony and AI, but anyway, big ups to the Denver Nuggets for winning the championship.
I'm with you, Dan. I love seeing a team that hasn't won it, and we're going to see another team win another championship tonight. The Golden Knights in Las Vegas are going to win their first Stanley Cup. They're up 6-1 in the start of the third period. So,
Man,
Holy shit.
I could not be happier because 1, I had the over, and 2, I had the first period over. So I had hit both of my plays for clients tonight. And then how great was it? I mean, if you watch Nikola Jokic, he doesn't look like a guy that
he's
is
hilarious,
an athlete.
man.
I mean, he just I mean, he looks like a construction worker. You know,
he does. Did you see his post-game interview yesterday?
I did not.
He's like, so everyone's like, "Are you excited for the parade?" He's like, "When's the parade?" He turns and he goes, and whoever's next to him, his handler's like, "Oh, it's Thursday." He's like, "No, I have to go home." And then the guy's like, "No, you go home Friday." He goes,
I don't see how many.
I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I swear to God, this happened.
That's funny.
I haven't seen that many triple doubles in a long time, Dan Aguirre.
I didn't watch any game of the series, so neither have I, for that matter.
Nikola Jokic, I don't know how many times you have it. He was almost guaranteed a triple double every night. Yeah.
There's only 10 other guys that had won 2 MVPs and had the triple doubles that Jokic has had, and the list it's everyone that you would ever imagine is on that list. That's a MVP, like
Wilt Chamberlain,
Jordan, Steph Curry, LeBron James.
Yeah.
Man, I forget the list, but it's a lot of good names.
His game may be ugly as hell, but man, it's an effortless ugly. I love watching Jokic play, man. There's something every man about it, you know?
Yeah, he's just like not impressed with himself, and it's incredibly entertaining.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the main subject of Bears State of Affairs, and that is stadium wars. Aaron, have you following the stadium battles between the towns outside of Chicago?
Yeah, so I don't remember how many times. So isn't it that once the Bears closed on the land, didn't they do a tax eval and it was like 3 times higher than it was 2 years ago and like 5 times higher than 2019? So like as soon as Chicago bought it, like they're like, oh, okay, by the way, they fucking jacked up the price on it. That's why Chicago's like, okay, well, we're no longer singularly focused on this area. We might look elsewhere. Like what? Yeah. I mean, I get it because I don't understand all the ins and outs of it, but they're talking about they're going to need more schools to talk about, all the different people they're bringing in. They're going to have like stations and like train stations. And like, basically, I think Chicago was asking for help with costs with the infrastructure, correct?
The village is worried about paying associated costs down the line that would be paid for by taxpayers of Illinois,
Yeah. And that's one thing too. I don't remember where I heard it, but they're talking about Chicago would have paid, like I said, 3 times higher than 3 years ago and 5 times higher than however many years ago. But like, I guess a ton of different stadiums don't pay property tax at all.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Rare that the stadium actually has to pay property tax, like it all completely. So for them to come out and say, hey, by the way, you have to pay 3 times as much as it was, 5 years ago and 5 times as much as it was, however long ago. And then Chicago's like, okay, well, if that's the case, then I don't know what they're going to do with it.
But Tooch, like, why do the Bears care though? I mean, they're going to get all the cut on all like their concessions and their merchandise. Why do they even give a shit?
It's fair. Yeah. I mean, they can't afford it. Obviously, they wouldn't have closed on it if they couldn't have, but I mean, at the same time, business. It's like, I kind of get it too at the same point, it's like, who knows what the family does now, but what Ditko is famous for saying, the old man throws around pennies like they're manhole covers when he was talking about Hallis. So maybe the family was like, well, if you're trying to fuck me on that, then maybe I'm not going to pay all that money.
I think now I could be wrong here, but I believe that the main thing with the Bears is they're willing to pay the taxes, but unless I'm misinterpreting this, at least from the Bears angle, is that they don't want to pay X amount, whatever that amount is, until the stadium is built and they're open. The interpretation is they're trying to make the Bears pay full price on their taxes now as if the stadium is already operational. So the Bears are saying, why should we do that? That's not fair. Yeah. And Chicago, Arlington Heights is saying, I'm sorry.
Well, especially if they don't have the money coming in now, I can see that.
Right. Well, that's the Bears' perspective, but Arlington Heights is saying, well, we've got we got to pay our teachers, our firemen, our police officers. We need this money. The Bears are saying, well, fuck that. Why should we pay full amount until we're up and running? So to me, there's got to be a middle ground from both sides. You figure whatever the value that Arlington Heights is asking for, come down some. Whatever the Bears saying is their max, go up some, and then get married here. Fuck, come on.
Did anybody else see that non-statement about like the Chicago Bears meeting with the new mayor in Chicago? Like, yeah, we've talked and we're talked about important about talking. It just made it was like I could look up the quote, but it was like they didn't say anything other than the fact that they talked. I didn't even necessarily say that they talked about like a stadium, but it sounds like I'm sorry, Kevin Warren, I think, right, was talked to the new mayor in Chicago, and I guess they've talked, but they didn't really get into what they talked about. So they released a statement basically saying that there's been a discussion, but not like anything meaningful or like anything about a stadium going forward.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing we can all agree upon is that it's an absolute dumpster fire trying to get to Soldier Field.
Yeah. Not fun. It's always fights underneath that tunnel every single time. It's like
the worst stadium to get to in the world. And I've been to Soldier Field many times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's no way the Bears are going back to Chicago. I don't think. I mean, it's the NFL's smallest stadium. They can't compete. They'll never host a Super Bowl. I know that Brandon Johnson, I think, is the new mayor's name. Is that the new mayor's name, Brandon Johnson?
Sounds right, yeah.
Had to do his due diligence and at least contact the Bears and
feel out the waters. Decade too late.
Yeah, like Brandon
Chicago.
Johnson. Yep.
Right.
What is it? Thor Lightfoot said something about, they ought to focus on being relevant past October or something along those lines. Like, Chicago's been treating the Bears like shit. And when they wanted a stadium, they wanted to do it, and they just laughed at them. So now that they're out, especially towards the end of Laura Lightfoot's range, she's talking about, okay, well, maybe she's trying to talk to him, but like too little too late, I think.
Yeah. Danny, what do you think? Are the Bears definitely gone from Soldier Field?
I mean, it would certainly seem that way, but going back 30 years now, people were saying the Bears were going to Gary, Indiana, and we're going to leave the original Soldier Field, and somehow it all came together, and the Bears were thrilled in 2002 when they, started to build the new stadium there and thought they had this state of the art stadium. So the fact that now they're like, this stadium is a toilet just 20 years later is a little bit shocking, because it was the stadium they wanted at the time. So I can understand the Park District's view in that aspect, but it seems like the Bears would not. Now, granted, this is before Warren took over and you still had Sweaty Teddy, but I don't think the Bears buy that property in Arlington Heights if there was some way that they thought they could stay in Chicago.
Exactly.
I think they're moving, man. They're not going to. Who's buying that property back from them? Are they just going to write that off as a loss? No way. They're moving to Arlington Heights.
They're going to Arlington Heights. This is all it's all smoke and mirrors. They're going to go to Arlington Heights.
I would agree that they've already paid $197 million for the Arlington Heights property, but I do think they could sell it again. Somebody could develop it, put condos or mixed use residential and shopping, commercial and residential district in that area. Mm-hmm. It's not like they couldn't sell it. They might end up selling at a loss because people know that buyers would have them over a barrel. Or what the Bears could do is just develop, start another company, develop themselves into something else, But out of the three spots, which one would you guys like to see the most? Well, Waukegan offers a lakefront property, so they say, Aaron.
I'll be honest, I don't know enough about the area or anything else. Like, I hardly know anything about Arlington Heights. Like, I know Soldier Field, but I don't really know the Chicagoland area. I imagine it's like
Heights
close.
Is home to the barkeeper.
It's Arlington Heights, man.
Yeah, that's what I heard. A couple other people in Bears media also, I think, live out there, so that are excited about the prospect. But I mean, I don't know the difference between Arlington Heights or wherever else you just said, or even even a difference. Which I can't imagine there's a different spot in Chicago they'd be able to.
That's where Walter worked out, was in Arlington Heights.
Oh, was that the Hill?
Yeah, it seems like I've been at the Hill. It seems like a good fit, I mean, and it's not that far away. It's only like 20 miles from Soldier Field. So I mean, It's kind of like
perfect spot.
Yeah, that's where it's going to be.
There's a metro stop right there. Come on.
Waukegan has its own metro stop too, though.
Yeah, but Arlington Heights.
So does Naperville. Naperville's got 3 of them, I think, or 2 of them.
Yeah, but that's like 2 hours away.
Yeah, Waukegan is a good hour and a half. Naperville is an hour. So if
it's
people are
Arlington
coming
Heights.
out from the city, but
they're just trying to drum up.
How much leverage do the Bears really have, if you think about it?
Well,
Danny,
they
how
have
much
the
leverage
football team. They still have the football team, and that's what we're talking about here. Regardless if they haven't won since '85, they're still worth over $1 billion, and they still have the leverage of saying we're bringing all this shit to your community, whether even just parking, and hot dogs at the stadium and beers, all this shit is coming to your place for 10 games a year, counting the preseason, or at least 9. So
and all the hotels will be jammed. You'll have all the restaurants will be jammed.
Yeah, it's the Bears have the leverage, but I guess Arlington Heights can say, well, you've already bought this property.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the Bears have the Bears are the girl of the situation. The team is the pussy. All right. The team is everyone wants to fuck the team. Like is what I'm trying to say. So that is the most important part of this entire equation.
Dude, you know what this strangely reminds me of? And I don't know if you remember all those years ago, they were going to have the Lucas Museum in Chicago. Do you remember this?
The George Lucas Star Wars Museum.
Yeah, and it was going to be on the waterfront. It was going to be beautiful. And the Park District in the city of Chicago ended up just vetoing it. And then they're like, we're calling your bluff. We're out of here. And they went and they did it in L.A. or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And this is strangely similar.
Yeah, reminiscent for
kind
sure.
of random. I don't know if you guys have heard or not. I've heard he's maybe in talks with Disney to buy back Lucasfilm.
Interesting. I had not heard that.
So I don't know if it's a fact or not, but I've seen a couple of different people speculate that Disney was maybe thinking about selling it, and he was one of the people thinking about buying it back.
Don't let me get started on Star Wars. We'll never get back to the Bears.
That's exactly. That's why I brought it up, because I wish they would sell it back to him. Same, with that and Indiana Jones. But I didn't know if anybody else had heard about that. Sorry about the derailing.
I had not.
I tell you, it's Star Wars night at Minute Maid Park in Houston. One of my friends is at the game with the Astros leading 4-0 over the Nationals, Joe. So you're missing Star Wars night in Houston. If you were in Houston, I'm sure you'd be there. Aaron Mikulski,
yes. That is
Arlington Heights. Would you think it'd be in the Bears' best interest to build a retractable dome, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so. I know we've had a couple of different arguments, and not me as in particular,
about having an open air
stadium and that kind of a thing. But God, domes are dope, dude. I mean, was it 4 years ago? My wife and I took her dad up to the Minnesota Stadium. That's an awesome fucking stadium. So if they could get one that was retractable, great. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, you'd need one to host a Super Bowl, obviously, in a Final Four. Dan Aguirre, any objections to a Bears dome stadium?
I think that they're just going to have a dome. I think it's going to be a dome 24/7, retractable to cut some of the cost. And it's just going to be, like you said, they're going to want the NCAA tournament. They're going to want the WWE to bring WrestleMania. They want all this kind of shit. Yeah. But I think there's just going to be a permanent dome.
Should be. Cool. I agree. Just like in Minnesota.
Well, even Field said he wants a dome.
Let us know in the chat room.
As a Bears fan, I would love
to. Or open air stadium.
I would love to still be in the cold as a Bears fan, but at this point, the modern day football, I mean, I'm going to be jealous of Green Bay being outside. I'm not going to lie, but most teams in questionable weather, whether it's Arizona in the heat, Vegas in the heat, they have a dome. Most people have domes now, unless you're in an area that's not questionable weather-wise. Detroit, Minnesota, etc.
I think the chat room's talking to Joe here.
Sorry, guys. I'm
that's
sorry.
That's a bunch of hog.
I started.
Cliff, that's a bunch of hogwash. Yes, the first 3 were amazing, but 2 out of the 3 prequels were good. And Rogue One was amazing.
Rogue One is awesome. I know I'm sorry to bring up so much stadium talk, but that's what's in the news right now is all this. The Bears are doing the stadium shuffle. It's like stadium wars. But in Bears State Affairs also touched on the fact that I think the Pro Bowl's wide open for Justin Fields this year with Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady gone. I don't know if you guys gave it any thoughts. Danny, I think he's almost a lock for the Pro Bowl in the NFC.
Well, the Pro Bowl isn't what it used to be. I mean,
Correct.
The Pro Bowl is
They don't
fucking
even play football anymore.
Yeah, it's like flag shit now, right? I mean, I get it. Maybe that gets the cool thing about that is maybe you can involve like retired players somehow, or I don't know. Like I'm sure they'll have Eli Manning throwing passes or something, or Peyton. They always seem to be attention whores.
Could they have like a veterans game, some 40s and 50s guys out there maybe play some flag football?
Full pads, yeah, hell yeah.
Have Butkus hit somebody.
I would watch that if we had like Dan said, Eli Manning, some of these other guys, Ray Lewis,
Seriously, getting back to your question though, too,
yeah.
I do think Justin Fields would be a Pro Bowler. I mean, just look at him compared to Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jalen Hurts is a Pro Bowler, Super Bowl quarterback, and they have a very, very similar skill set, similar development path.
Yeah.
I think it's a cakewalk to the Pro Bowl as long as he
his
doesn't throw
competition
20.
in the NFC?
Eagles?
As bad as I hate to say it,
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts.
as bad as I hate to say it, every year.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Kirk Cousins, every year statistically, I'm guilty as anybody else for shitting on him, but statistically, like if Cutler would have had his stats, I would be still pounding my dick about how great Jay was. So, I mean, Cousins, like you said, Hurts in Philly. I mean, let's not sleep on Goff in Detroit. Goff had a fine season last year.
He did. He really did, especially towards the end there. He doesn't get enough love as far as I'm concerned. I thought he really did well.
Exactly. He's so
everybody
young.
beat us.
There's some new names. There's some new names in the NFC people are forgetting about. I mean, you got Derek Carr now on the Saints. This is a guy that's always in the Pro Bowl conversation. Of course, you got Matthew Stafford, who's hurt, but he'll be back this year, it sounds like. And he's always one of those guys that the Pro Bowlers like to suck his nuts.
Padford.
Kyler Murray, who's, I know, a dud season last year, but he potential bounce back. I don't want to say he's a big threat to
Do
Fields.
they have much of a team, though? Especially offense does Arizona. Who else do they have? I mean, okay, so like same as Dan. I don't know football. I don't know the NFL. I know Bears. So like if it's another team, I'm pretty clueless. Do they have a good team around him or no?
No. It seems that some people think that it could be an awful team and that the Cardinals could move on from him next season with a high draft pick.
Yeah, and they probably will. But honestly, another name that people aren't talking about either is Geno Smith is in the NFC as well, and he had silently a really great season.
Seattle. He was great last year.
He was great.
He just signed a big contract, and it took Geno a long time to get there. I've been saying he sucked since he was here at West Virginia University, but hey, man, he played well. But now that he's gotten paid, can he deliver similar results? There's so many players in the history of the league. Once they get paid, that's when their play goes down. But
Eddie Jackson, excuse me.
Nathan Vasher was one.
Yeah,
Nathan Vasher was the interceptor, and then I don't think he had one pick after he got paid. So
and we're also forgetting about another guy that's always the darling of the NFC. He's selling us yogurt all season long. And he's got a top 10 all-time completion percentage. That's Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott.
And the number 4 overall jersey, damn.
That is maddening.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Insane. That's just, they're Cowboys. They have a ton of fans outside of Dallas and around the world for whatever reason. But that is crazy. Before I get to my next question, Hurts to make the Pro Bowl or be all pro. I mean, pretty soon the Bears are going to have to negotiate a contract with Justin Fields.
Yeah,
Joe, Jalen Hurts just got paid $225 million. How much is it going to cost to sign Justin Fields?
More than that.
How long's left on his contract? Do we know?
He's got this year and the club option for next year.
Two more years,
He's
right?
only entering year 3, guys.
Yeah.
The Bears could control him for 3 more years before giving him another contract. I don't think it'll
With
come
the
to
franchise
that.
tag. Yep.
Yeah.
So realistically, when we
Well,
get
if you
there,
count the franchise tag 4 more years. He's only played 2 seasons.
but I think Iceberg's right. I think by the time we get to the point where we're doing a contract, you're looking $325 million deal by the time.
$250 minimum. You know, unless he bombs out, I don't think he's going to bomb out after what we saw last year. I know a lot of people are like, but he's 3-14 or whatever.
Well, let's not say that.
Yeah, but that's the most exciting 3-14 team I've ever seen. That's for sure.
Hell
man.
yes.
I've never seen a shittier team more fun to watch than the 3-14 Chicago Bears.
He was the only reason to watch last year, man.
Mm-hmm.
Danny, what is his record? I don't even know. 3-14 plus whatever he had with.
What was he? Did he have 2 wins? Was he 2-8 and 21? I think.
So yeah, they're saying 5-22. Yeah, 5-23, something like that. That's what I've seen out there. You're right.
That's not good.
You're right.
But
but you're on a team that had the worst defense in the history of the franchise, worse than the Mel Tucker years, and on top of that, probably one of the worst offensive line. But we've been saying that since fucking Jay was here. It's just like they never commit to drafting offensive lineman. This is the first lineman we drafted in the top 10 since 1983, for God's sake. 40 years. It's time to value. And then they didn't draft anyone else in the rest of the entire draft, not one other offensive line play. You got to build your fucking lineman. You got to protect him. They need to sign somebody else, in my opinion. And they obviously need an edge rusher. They should have brought Leonard Floyd back.
Yeah, where he just got snagged up last week, wasn't it? Buffalo. Right. Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of cap cuts around training camp. I think the Bears will pounce.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. I think they were going to get at least one more offensive lineman. Maybe that's when we pick up an edge rusher. Who knows?
So Foster says 5-20, but whatever it is, 5 wins. That all of the detractors point to that as far as Justin Fields' record. But I don't even count that season with Matt Nagy because Matt Nagy is arguably the Bears' worst coach ever. And then
disagrees.
Last year, the team was set up to fail, but Dan just pointed out how bad the defense was. They traded away their best defender midway through the season. If you look at any statistics, yards per play with Roquan Smith and yards per play without Roquan Smith, a vast difference. So now we've replaced Roquan Smith with 2 linebackers for the price of 1. One of them we made the highest linebacker in NFL highest paid linebacker in NFL history in Tremaine Edmonds. But I expect the defense to be much more improved, Danny.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would hope so. And I was, not. I have to admit that I wasn't giving Sanborn as much credit as maybe he earned, just because I thought, it's just one of those players. He's white, so like Dane Sanzenbacher or whatever. We got to root for him because he's the great white hope. But maybe he played better than what I'm giving him credit for. So if you put him with the 2 linebackers that we signed, the secondary in theory should be better. I mean, if they can get any pass rush, the D should be a hell of a lot better. The running backs and wide receivers should be a hell of a lot better. The tight ends should be better, and all of that combined should make Justin Fields better. The Bears should be better.
Trubisky, Retro says Trubisky was 22-8 as a Bear starter. Can that be right?
Yeah, I mean, especially in 2018 alone. So, I would imagine so. But another thing, real quick, not to change the subject, but I still say Robbie's out there pounding the desk to be brought back. I have no faith in Cairo Santos. Yeah. Mr. I can't make an extra point. I don't want to make it. Oh, it's a little bit windy out there, so that 42-yard field goal, I don't want to try it today, coach. Fuck, that guy should be cut.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears did sign an undrafted free agent kicker from Syracuse, I think, who has.
I hope he outplays Santos, who lost his heart.
Yeah,
he missed the game when we brought the kid in. Ended up getting the job with the Lions the rest of the season and played well. He made the 4 field goals. I guess it was against the Giants. Santos' birthday weekend, and he just fucking took off and didn't make it to the game. And then the rest of the season, he took off. So as far as I'm concerned, Cairo Santos needs to be fucking cut.
I'm totally in agreement with you, Danny. If you guys had to guess how old Cairo Santos is, how old would you say he is?
31.
31. He is 31 years old, 5'8", 175. It's not a big guy. Andre Schmidt, the guy that they signed as a free agent out of Syracuse, 24 years old, 6 foot 200. Got to have got a stronger leg than Cairo Santos. I'd like to see him get a shot. I wasn't all those missed extra points down the stretch, Danny. Yeah. I know at least one of those games he cost us a game.
The Lions game.
Right, the Lions
we lost 31-30 because of his missed extra point. And everybody knew it. When he missed it, it's like, oh, now Detroit just needs a touchdown to win. And what the fuck happened?
There they went all the way down the field.
Santos is our Ray Finkel.
Laces out.
So, Danny, Cairo Santos or Robbie Gould for this 2024?
2024 or 2023, you mean?
2023, sorry. 2023.
Yes, please bring back number 9. Robbie wants to play here. He still lives here. And he's still, at age 40, better than Santos.
And he shows up.
Aaron Mikulski, Robbie Gould or Cairo Santos?
Robbie Gould. For the selfish reason, I want a Robbie Gould jersey. Just like an updated one, not an old one either. But like, I absolutely would go with Robbie Gould as well.
Joey Mandel, Gould or Santos?
Do you want a hot take? I mean, I between the two, I'd go Robbie Gould, but Greg Zuerlein is a free agent. Just throwing that out.
Greg,
the he can hit from like 59 yards consistently.
Would you like to see the Bears carry 2 kickers, one guy for long distance and one guy accurate short distance? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like we bring in our sniper rifle, we bring in our handgun, for the field goals. That'll never happen. I think our punt doesn't our punter double as a place kicker.
He needs to he needs to just worry about punting. You know, he didn't have the best rookie year, Mr. Gill, and he just kind of it takes him forever to punt the ball, and arguably that blocked punt against the Dolphins is what cost us that game, along with all the bad officiating.
Yep, great point, Danny. You're talking about Trenton Gill, right?
Yes, exactly. I mean, I was glad to see O'Donnell go, and fuck him for going to Green Bay, but I'm not saying Gill's the guy. Maybe he is. We drafted him. I hope he turns out to be, somebody that we have like Brad Maynard. Remember we had Maynard. We signed him from the Giants, and he was with the Bears like 10 years. So I would like to see Gill be that guy, instead of Patrick O'Donnell playing on 1-year contracts every season.
Joe Mandel, you have another guy in mind?
There's a better free agent out there. I totally forgot about this. Matt Gay is a free agent.
Are you going gay?
I'm gay for gay. Look at this. He's got a career.
Who's gay? I really don't know. For real. Please tell me.
I'll tell you right now, Dan. He's got a career 87.8% field goal percentage. He's got playoff experience. He's only 28 years old. And in 2022, he nailed 28 of his first 30. And both of those misses are from beyond 50.
So where did he play?
Matt Gay, I believe, was kicking for the Rams.
If he was, again, not being sarcastic at all, why'd they let him go then? Why is he available?
Good question.
Because Zuerlein, you could say he's getting a little bit older, maybe. Robbie's older. You could be afraid to sign them. But I don't even know who Matt Gay is. So it's like, if he's so good, like, I'm surprised he's available. I'm not shitting on your suggestion at all. I just don't know him.
Right.
Yeah, he was originally
actually
the kicker on the Buccaneers, I think.
Nope, I lied. He got signed. I missed it. He got signed with the Colts. So disregard.
I was getting excited there, man.
Sorry, it happened in March. Apparently, I missed that.
Gay too.
The guy that I always wanted, and it's like every year, because he was in Detroit and before that Denver, every year Matt Prater came to Soldier Field, he made a 57 or 58-yard field goal every time they came down. And at the same time, whoever we would have, whether it's Eddie Pinheiro or Cody Parkey. Our guy can't make from 43, and their guy's making 58.
Danny, when was the last time you felt we had a kicker that you felt like really good about, like clutch? Well, Robbie Gould?
Now I'm not one of these guys that thinks Robbie didn't deserve to be cut when he was cut. Right. Robbie struggled in 2013. Remember, he missed a field goal in Minnesota when Mark Trestman was there and went for it on second down because he had so much confidence in him from 47 in the dome. He missed it. He missed kicks in 2015 to cost us games against San Francisco, against Washington. He was missing extra points in the preseason. So to answer your question, the last time I felt like, Robbie, the last time we had a kicker where I felt really comfortable was like the 2010 version of Robbie. But Robbie completely rebuilt himself. He said he got too cocky, too arrogant, and got sloppy. So by the time he went to San Francisco, he started from scratch. And I mean, you saw him put Green Bay out of the playoffs a couple of years ago, which I loved.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Adrian Amos is with the Jets. Fuck Adrian Amos.
I just saw that.
A traitor.
Did he really?
Hope he has crabs wherever he's at.
So before
hope his balls are itching ungodly.
We have to apologize to the chat room for talking about punters and kickers. They're not,
everyone's excited about kickers.
It's a playoff game because of a kicker. How can you not say kicker's important?
I agree. I'm with you, but so let's get down to what I touched on in Bears State of it. Yes.
Before you move on, did you bet the over in the Sox game? Yeah. Okay.
Right. I have the run line though, so it's still not out of the woods. But we did touch on in Bears State of Affairs the need for the Bears pass rusher in the recent release. The Cowboys released former first-round pass rusher Takarist McKinley. Any thoughts on McKinley or Ngakoue? Anybody? Justin Houston, who you want to see? We'll start with Dan Aguirre. What are you thinking, Danny? How badly do the Bears need a pass rusher?
Well, they need help, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. The guy you said they got cut in Dallas, I don't know anything about. I'm just being completely honest with you. Justin Houston seems a little bit older to me.
Yeah, but he can really
I would have signed Floyd again. I know I'm whining now because he's property of the Buffalo Bills, but
he's signed with the Bills. Okay,
I would have signed Leonard Floyd again.
Aaron Bukowski, who'd you like to see suit up on the edge for the Bears? Besides we really only have four guys. I mean, I know there's another guy. I think someone in the chat room mentioned Terrell Lewis. I think who played who rushed the passer at Alabama. But who'd you like to see out there, Aaron?
I'm along the same line as Dan. I don't really know too many of them. I guess I know the name Giannis Ngakoue, so he'd be really cool. But the Cowboys you're talking about, I don't know anything about. And I honestly don't feel like we're going to go out and get a big name dude. I think we're just going to go out and get a dude. Like, I just think we're still in that phase where, we're not one pass rusher away from, making the deep playoff push or anything like that. I just think he's going to go out and go, like, I think he's still in polls and still in bargain mode. It's like, okay, well, that's a young up and coming guy. I can get him for cheap. Let's go get him.
Unless Washington really does trade Chase. I mean, I think the Bears would listen to that.
They have the pieces.
Yeah. Doesn't he have an injury history, though?
Yeah.
Well, sure. So does a lot of the free agent edge rushers.
Fair enough.
I mean, I don't think the Bears would move off that first-round pick that they got from Carolina or by any stretch, but maybe they could get him for like a second. Maybe. I mean, if Washington really wants to move from him and say we can't pay him, then maybe the Bears make a move on that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just saying hypothetically.
Tooch, is anyone in this room interested in Jadeveon Clowney? That's what I want to know.
We couldn't do much worse. I wouldn't mind having him. The guy can still play.
If we still got it, man, absolutely.
Locker room hazard, but I tell you what, if he gets the right culture and he gets the Eberflus way, I could see him kind of turning it around here.
But then you worry about the same thing as fucking Jalen Carter. If he's a locker room hazard, we don't have that leadership's not going to bring in somebody that could be a locker room hazard. We're starting to build something here.
I would say comparing the two is very different because Clowney's more like the guy that's focused on stats, and I don't know. I think they're different.
Fair enough.
For the right cost, I would take a chance. And it's funny. Foster just said the same thing. For the right cost, we take a flyer on Clowney.
Why not? I don't know how old Jadeveon Clowney is, but we're talking on a 1-year contract. Why not?
Yeah, like a prove it deal. Sure.
He's 30 years old, so I think they'd probably offer him either a 1 or 2 year deal.
Joe Mandel, Takaris McKinley, Yannick Ngakoue, any of those guys? Justin Houston, 34 years old.
Ngakoue, I think is a decent play.
Right. So
Marcus,
to me,
Marcus Davenport.
Takaris McKinley's kind of the same as Yannick Ngakoue, just plays the run a little bit better, but hasn't quite had as many sacks as Ngakoue. But like Travis Gibson said, he just missed a handful of sacks that would have made people a lot more confident in the young pass rusher going into 2023. Dan, how confident are you in Travis Gibson?
I'm not, but Aldo's made good arguments with Gibson, to point out that he was good in 21, 22, the whole team was bad. So maybe he's young. He's our draft pick. Maybe he's akin to Robert Quinn, whom we had that plays a good 1 year, plays well, and then the next year he's kind of struggles, but then he comes back. So maybe Gibson has a resurgence this year. I don't feel extremely confident about it, but Aldo's made me feel like it's at least plausible.
So, was Chandler Jones available, Joe? Because that dude's a freaking beast, and I know he's getting up there in years, but man,
I don't think Chandler Jones is available.
I didn't think he was available. I think he was on. Was he on the Cardinals last year at Buffalo?
Is Robert Quinn available again?
He's on the Raiders.
He's on the Raiders last year or this year?
Right now.
Okay.
So who are you talking, Quinn or Chandler Jones?
Chandler Jones.
Well,
Robert Quinn
is
is
still
still
with
out
Philly?
there.
Is he still with Philly or is he available?
He's a free agent.
Robert Quinn. I would bring Robert back. He seemed to like his time here.
Positive.
For a 1 year deal to bring Quinn back for 1 year. Fuck yeah, I would bring him back 1 year.
What about this is Carl Nassib?
Is he not under contract anymore?
Who's that, Joe?
Carl Nassib from Tampa Bay. He's a free agent.
I mean, the Bears. If you
4 sacks last year.
Go back and look at the Bears draft in this most recent draft. Of course, they took 3 defensive tackles for the most part, and not a single edge rusher per se. Aaron, do you think how much of the Bears counting on getting pressure from the inside of their defensive line? You got to think that's where they're going to be looking for pressure.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, especially with a couple of the different draft picks they picked up, which from what I've heard, they sound super impressive. They sound really promising. Considering we've been talking about who can they pick up for edge rusher? Well, they don't have an edge rusher. It's got to come from center. It's got to come from the middle of the line of the defense.
Right. Joe, you said before that the Bears would likely wait for June 1st cuts to see what's out there. Do you think Poles waits until then, or do you think he makes a move?
I think you're going to see a little bit of both.
They have plenty of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like
Carl Nassib too, right? I don't think he's got a team. I think he's a free agent, isn't he?
Nassib is a free. Nassib's yeah.
But I don't think he's got a team yet. I'm looking at it now.
I thought Nassib was on the Buccaneers last year.
No, he's a Raider.
So any of those guys like Robert Quinn or Justin Houston, the chat room says could come in on a 1 year deal, teach the young kids, and I'm fine with that too. Lance says Sewell will play some edge. I don't know about that. He's kind of a little undersized, doesn't have the length, but I could see him taking over one of those. I didn't get drafted in to play the Sam linebacker, and Sanborn's going to be like the backup, but I could be wrong. I think Foster's correct, man. Inside pressure is Eberflus's system. But, man, Dan Aguirre, I still think you got to have that pass rusher on the edge on third down, man.
Yeah, I don't think that we can go with what we have now. That between that and the offensive line are the glaring weaknesses on the team at this juncture. And like someone mentioned June 1st. Well, guys, it's June 13th. So, I mean, how many other people are going to get cut unless we're talking September 2nd or something right before the season's about to start? I don't want to wait that long. I want someone acclimated into the defense who's ready to go.
Right.
And fully assimilated, not just like a project.
Do you guys want some potential names for salary cap casualties?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Kalai Campbell from the Ravens. He's 37 years old, but the Ravens will save $7 million if they cut him.
He's gone.
Frank Clark from the Chiefs. He renegotiated his contract, but if
He
they
just
cut
signed
him,
with Denver.
He did.
Frank
Yeah, I'm
Clark.
pretty sure he signed with Denver. It was somebody.
Plus, last time I got flamed because the chat room said he was a thug,
But didn't he sign with Denver like 2 days ago? I'm pretty sure it was him.
Yep. Yes, he did 2 days ago.
Nice,
Holy
Danny.
crap! I
Very
missed
good.
that.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
Yeah.
But I really think that a good name, Kalai Campbell, is a name to look at. Is a guy that could definitely be picked up by the Bears. But Shelby Harris from the Seahawks. Don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he only had 2 sacks last year. But he's owed $9 million, and he'll probably get cut.
Yep. Foster Cover says we might have 1,180 guys to choose from. It's also said some dude on the Jets. All right.
You get some offensive line help too from those cuts as well.
All right. We talked pass rush. We talked stadium. I want to talk a little bit about who you guys mentioned already, the wide receiver room. Right now, Chase Claypool isn't even playing. He's injured already. Aaron,
Yeah, but they said it's not a serious injury.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of people are down on Claypool. I'm not really sure why.
Because
I'll
we
tell you
created
why.
a second round pick in the first.
It
pick
was
in the second
basically a
round for
first
him.
round pick because of the Dolphins didn't have a first round pick. It would have been number 32 overall. But
no one exactly excelled. Like everyone loves Mooney. It's not like Mooney played well last year. Now, granted, he got hurt in the Jets game, but no one was like balling out in the 2022 version of the Bears other than Justin Fields. And Fields has a long way to go. Passing, we all acknowledged that. But he was the only star on the offense last year. I mean, let's keep it real. So, I mean, I think Claypool can bounce back.
I hope
But
so.
a lot of people have already written him off.
I don't think they've written him off per se. I just think that people are a little bit sour about what they could have done with that pick instead. And maybe after the Steelers possibly cut him, they signed him. But, I mean, look, nobody, like you said, Danny, nobody on the Bears really played awesome last year at wide receiver. How much of that was a product of the offensive line? I mean, Justin Fields was probably the most heavily pressured quarterback in the NFL last year.
I think it was. Was he the person that got sacked the most or the second? I don't remember.
I think the Bears' offensive line gave up the most amount of pressures and hits in the NFL last year. But
that's not good.
I mean, no wide receiver is going to look good when that happens. Of course, like you said, Dan, Darnell Mooney injured in the Jets game, which was that week 11?
Yeah, it was somewhere through there, like 11 or 12. And Eddie Jackson, I think, was injured in the same game. And both of them, I mean, have to be question marks considering that it was midway through the year and we're hoping they're going to be back to themselves. We've been saying that about Eddie since like 2018, or 2019. But it might be, it makes Claypool even more, important because you don't know how soon Mooney's going to be Mooney again. And was he really that great to begin with? I mean, he's okay. He's a guy.
But here's the thing. With Mooney, he had a great year when he had Allen Robinson. Coming into 2022, everybody knew Mooney was the guy. So everybody spied on Mooney and hammered him. Like, honestly, I mean, he's great. But he, compared to like the rest of the wide receivers and like the defensive backs across, he's not that, he's not the guy. So I think a lot of times, I think Mooney is good. And I think he's going to be great this year, especially with, the combined with DJ Moore and once Claypool gets in better. And even then, even if Claypool hasn't like blowing up everything and tearing shit up, he's still people are going to be guarding him. So like when you come into 2022, you recognize Mooney and Mooney, right? You got Mooney on the offense. Nobody, because Cole Kmet a year ago wasn't that great either, but he showed up last year. So everybody, even I said that at the beginning of the year last year, I said everybody's going to spy on Mooney. It's going to be a tough year for him. So I think Mooney does his best when he's not the focal point. He's not the number one wide receiver. He's going to get open in space, and he's going to have a couple other people taking the weight of that as well.
Joe Mandel, thoughts on Claypool?
We overpaid.
This week? We overpaid. I know.
We overpaid, but I mean, I think he's got a lot of talent. This is a guy that benefits from having lack of attention on him. And I think with DJ Moore and as we talked about, some of the other guys in Mooney, I don't think you're going to see a lot of eyes on Claypool, and that's usually when he succeeds. So maybe that's
a big dude too, right? Like Claypool's probably our biggest receiver, if I'm not mistaken.
He's hard to miss.
Yeah, and I think that's going to really benefit him this year. The eyes are going to be on DJ Moore and Mooney and what other weapons we end up using. But
I was reading something about, I think NFL has he has DJ Moore and Fields ranked like number 5 going into 2023 as the top the 5th best wide receiver quarterback duo. And for them to not have any tape together and already be there, I think it's pretty cool.
Well, then you've got to remember you got, Cole Kmet drawing attention as a big guy too.
Robert Tonyan now.
And Robert Tonyan, actually, we got a comment on that in the chat, which I thought was funny. But, it's just all stuff that's going to draw attention away from Claypool, and I could see that benefiting him.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Waukegan, Robert Tonyan from Waukegan, I think. Let's shift attention over to a place where the Bears are strong, and that's the running backs. Roschon Johnson getting a lot of praise for his hands. Khalil Herbert, someone mentioned in the chat room that 800 yards. Not only that, but 5.77 yards per carry. Was number 1 in the NFL for a minimum amount of carries for that stat. 5.77 yards per carry. Dan Aguirre, who's the starter next year?
You'd have to think just because he's been here that Herbert goes into camp as the starter. But the guy that they signed from Carolina, is it Foreman?
Yeah. Dante Foreman.
He looks like he's not coming here to try to be the backup. He's said that numerous times on social media, like he plans on being the starter. I mean, I know that's what everybody says, but he looks like an upgrade to me. I'm not an expert on watching tape or any of this shit. I'm just saying he looks good. And then everyone loves the draft pick. So I don't know. I can't answer that question on June 13th, but maybe they've worked the rookie in slowly and you have a two-headed monster with Herbert and Foreman.
I can see that.
Aaron Mikulski, who comes out of that pack in front?
The wide receivers?
The running backs.
I don't know. I mean, Herbert did really well for us last year, so I mean, logically, you're going to think him. We brought back Blasingame for another year, which is nice to have another fullback. You don't get to see that very often. I like a good fullback. But Roschon Johnson, man, everything I've heard about is like everybody's saying that if he wasn't behind who he was behind, he would have been much higher picked in the draft. Mm-hmm. So it's really tough to tell.
I love it. Joey Mandel, what do you think of Roschon Johnson? The hands, the speed.
Wish they would have cut Bayless Jones.
I like him. He's exciting. Me too. But I will tell you, I think Dante Foreman's the starter for the Bears.
Wow.
He was really good last year in Carolina. I mean, he was a fantasy stud. I'm not just saying that because we do a fantasy show.
Yep.
This is a guy that was getting it done for a team that was not very good, didn't have really much anything going on. I have to laugh to Steve's comment. Yeah. There's no way the Bears are signing Dalvin Cook. I'm sorry. He wants a mega deal. The Bears are not going to give it to him.
And he has to ask for it. He's 27 years old now, and with the knock of being injury prone. So,
which is another reason you might not see him on a contender because the contenders want to save that money, but we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Running backs, however you break it down, we're in great shape there. We got 3 guys who could all be starters. So
they're doing it the right way too, because I think everyone knows the running backs not worth what they used to be in the NFL. You're seeing multi-headed, monsters in the backfield. There are workhorse guys, but teams are letting them walk. I mean, look at Zeke. He's a free agent.
Yeah. Majority of teams in the NFL are running back by committee. And in case the chat room didn't know, Joe Mandel is the fantasy football goon. If you're tuning in on Sundays with Adam Sham and myself, check out Fantasy
Coming up
Football
soon.
Show. Coming up soon. Coming in hot on the Barroom Network. Dan Aguirre, tight ends. Cole Kmet wasn't your guy before, and now he's your guy.
Well, I don't want to say that he's the guy, but I mean, I felt that, again, he was always falling down and dropping passes, and he just looked like he was always wearing the wrong cleats, and it was just – but last season, I mean, the guy showed that he could score touchdowns, but like that catch he had in Atlanta.
Yeah, dude. I think about that catch all the fucking time.
Yeah, and let me shout out the other Dan who was at that game and is sick tonight. So he's feeling like shit, not feeling well at all. So I hope he's better. But yes, so Kmet showed potential. And I like the Tanyan signing. He's a big fucking monster tight end, and they both grew up Bear fans, so why wouldn't we root for them?
So, I forgot. Cole Kmet's from Arlington Heights. Robert Tanyan's from Waukegan. We had a tight end from Naperville last year.
That's right.
Who was the tight end that was the Naperville native? Was it Ryan Griffin?
I didn't know he was from Illinois, but wherever he went, he can stay.
What was the other tight end?
That game was terrible.
O'Brien.
They sucked, whoever they were. We forgot about them. They stink.
What was the name of the other tight end we had last year?
They had that guy from West Virginia named Wesco.
Right.
He scored a touchdown at one point. I was like, he's with the Bears? But
John.
Yeah. He just showed up with the Bears out of nowhere. I was like, where? Yeah. I didn't even know Wesco was there until he was there.
Jean Valjean.
The new Bears right tackle is your neighbor from Huntington, West Virginia.
Yes. Again, he played Huntington High School, but went to Tennessee. But yes, right. He's from here, and that does make me happy because unlike a state like Illinois where it's commonplace, we don't have a lot of stars from here historically. Jeff Hostetler, Randy Moss, just a couple off the top of my head. Kurt Warner, not the Rams Kurt Warner, but the old Seahawks running back. Kurt Warner was from here.
Nice.
Ahmad Bradshaw is from technically from Virginia, but he's over the border like 2 miles. So, but they're all local.
Thomas Jones, right, from the area.
Yeah, same deal. He's from Virginia, but he's local.
Yeah. Right.
The actor.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dude, we have a very important question in the chat that you need to address immediately.
Joe Mandel is my radio son, in case anybody didn't know. And in case anybody didn't know, if you're a long time barroom fan and listener, the 4 of us who are talking to you right now had a show called "I Have a Stream" where we would.
What happened to "I Have a Stream"? Let's cut the shit. What happened to it? Like I don't know the story why it went away.
I don't either. Was it because I wanted to do what's that other network called?
Okay, but
we don't have to say the name of it, but I know what it is.
No, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. But you obviously came back, and you're here, and you've been on the show for several years now. So now that you're back, and all of us are here now, like, what's stopping us from doing the show?
We're putting the band back together.
We are putting the band back together.
I'm proposing right now on the air to do the show again. Is what I'm saying. All of us. Why wouldn't we?
We're going to talk some movies,
science fiction.
Science fiction is here, right? Yeah.
Science fiction had their last show last week.
Whoa, wait a minute. What? Why?
I don't know. I just know that it said it was the last show.
Okay.
At least on this network.
Thinking back to some classic "I Have a Stream" shows where we would do commercials, like making fun. What we did, like a Game of Thrones commercials, making fun of the show and stuff.
Yeah,
right, Joe. That was
that seems so long ago. It's crazy to think about that, like Game of Thrones.
For those that don't know, "I Have a Stream" was literally a show about streaming shows, movies,
and
media, television. We had fun. Yeah, why not? Let's bring it back. We should bring it back every once in a while. We don't have to
Except
do it every
that
week.
one woman that just continually wanted to argue with me. I had no fun with her.
Sarah Mars.
The one with
Whatever.
the really
I was
bad,
thinking,
bad
no, I didn't say that. Why did I say that?
The bad connection. I remember that.
Yeah.
And then her cat kept making
she cleaned it up
noises.
though, right when we were doing the other show with Aaron and Sarah and I. We did
Stream Team.
The Stream Team. Yep. All right. Let's get to some other Bears talk. How about we take some questions from the chat room? What do they want to talk about? Any questions? Anything? Foster says we're good. No Tooch. Really, Foster? Aren't you going to miss Bears State of Affairs? All right. Okay. Here we go. Check this out. Leo Factor says, how about Greg Braggs moving to covering Bears full time?
My old co-host on
CHGO. I saw that, man. Good for him.
He was also on I Have a Stream a bunch of times.
Yeah. Greg is a great guy. Couldn't happen to a better guy.
Yeah. Does anybody know the story? I only know briefly that he left his bricklaying job and is going to be doing broadcasting full time.
So he's been a part of the CHGO team like almost since they started. He's been talking with them, and I guess he's starting to produce over there as well.
Producer in training.
Lawrence, and he's doing not just the Bears ones, but it looks like he's doing like Blackhawks and a bunch of other things either. So congratulations to Greg Braggs and the odd chance you.
Producing is not going to be like a part of the show.
He's doing on-camera work too.
He'll do both.
Okay. Nice.
But he's full-time, so I know it's not always Bears season. So
all right. So what is CHGO? I have no idea.
It's Adam Hogue's thing.
They're a media company that covers all Chicago sports.
Yeah, it's Mark Harmon too.
Started last year. They're doing pretty well.
Yeah, Mark Harmon used to be with WGN, and they've got Adam Hogue. They don't have Johns, but they've got Hogue, and who else? There's a couple other names.
Corey Wooten is actually part of the team during the football season.
Man, that ended Brett Favre's fucking career. That's who he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. He talks about that quite a bit too. But yeah, Corey Wooten's part of their team. There's one of the guys I was talking about actually from Arlington Heights, Nicholas Moriano, is another younger kid too. I think he's just out of college. So like he's on there. He's one of their analyst guys. So
and Will
DeWitt.
Will DeWitt.
Yeah, Will DeWitt.
Yeah, Will DeWitt and Nicholas Moriano, and they were on something else before. I don't know what their show
Chicago
was.
Audible.
So does this mean that
Audible.
Greg can't attend the games?
What?
Does this mean Greg can't attend the games? Because Greg went to almost every game.
Yeah.
I think last year a lot of the times he was actually in studio, so they're watching it live in studio every time there's a game of the CHGO anymore. So I don't know if he's not going anymore. It's a good question. Who knows?
And Adam, like Hogue, used to always be at the games too. To me, that's a huge step down. Like to not go to the games, just watch it on TV. You might as well just be us. Not from Greg Braggs' perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from Adam Hogue being a guy with access and a beat writer that can ask the fucking coach a question, and now he's just chilling at the house. Like, I can't imagine giving up that access.
Well, they're actually like in studio though, so they're not just like chilling out their homes. They're like all in there together watching the games.
But Hogue's not asking questions after the game.
I understand. Yeah, I got you.
Like, why would you give up that access? Is what I meant. Like,
well, I don't know that he isn't. I think sometimes he is. Sometimes I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, if he's there or not. Like, I don't know that he would give up that access.
I don't know the ins and outs, but I know that they're doing a great job covering all Chicago sports. They got White Sox coverage too with Herb Lawrence, and
they got everything. They got the White Sox. They got the female basketball team. They got the Blackhawks. They got the Whitehawks. They got a pretty good operation. Like I said, just within starting for a year, they're doing really well.
As CHGO, was that started by Hodge and Carmen or Hogue, whatever his name is?
Hogue, yeah, it was. The way that it feels, and I don't know if they've ever established it. It feels like Hogue. Well, Olin Kreutz was actually part of it too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they had a blow up.
But back when that whole thing about him, and I don't know the whole story, but it sounds like Olin Kreutz
was going to beat Adam's ass, is what it sounds like.
Came into the room and it was there was an altercation. That's all I know. So he was one of the bigger names helping him out when they started. And it sounds like they're cool, which is awesome. And it's such a shame. I fucking love Olin Kreutz. I loved when he was on there. I love listening to him talk and like how knowledgeable he is. But he was one of the ones that got it kind of off the ground. And then obviously he was no longer part of it. But the whole thing kind of feels like an Adam Hogue kind of operation with everybody else chipping in as much as they can.
It made like the way the story was leaked around that day is that Olin thought that Hogue was being condescending toward his viewpoints and was like basically saying he didn't know what he was talking about. So Olin was going to beat the fucking shit out of Adam Hogue, and which I'm not making fun of because again, from Hogue's perspective, he's like, my God, like I didn't mean anything by it. Like, what is he? Is he crazy? Like, and to Hogue's credit, he didn't press charges on him.
No, Hogue wanted to do the show, from what I understand.
They said Olin grabbed him by the fucking throat.
It was right before a show, too, and I think he said he wanted to do the show. So, as professional as you could possibly be.
Exactly.
This is great. I had no idea we were going to get to this part of the talk of the show. But Will DeWitt and Nicholas Moriano also worked with Aldo on Barroom in the very, very early days.
I did not know that.
If y'all didn't know that. Will DeWitt when it was NFC North Barroom.
Oh.
So before Bears Barroom came, and then I think Aldo picked up Shane and Phil, who were in the chat room, I think, right, Danny? Weren't they chat room dudes? Phil and Shane?
I didn't come on board at all until 2018, so I don't know. All that precedes me.
And Joey Mandel and I were 2017. So
that sounds right.
Yep. And Aaron Mikulski, you were probably 2018, 2019, right?
Around there, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I always thought that like Will and Nick went from Chicago Audible and started CHGO, but I guess it's Adam Hogue that started it. I didn't know that. Good, great news for a great guy, Greg Braggs, Greggy Sunshine, as I called him when he was on when he was part of the Barroom.
Right.
Braggs in the Stands, which Joe Mandel produced.
It was Chai Fans in the Stands.
Chai Fans in the Stands.
Chai Fans.
Right. Chai Fans in the Stands. Right. I thought of it. Right. Because after when Braggs left, it was called Braggs in the Stands, right?
Correct.
Okay. Right.
Good stuff, though. Greg's a good dude. So happy for him.
Yeah, Greg is a great guy. Yeah. I remember when we first met him, Joe, you and me and Aldo were down at training camp. And this big guy with these big blue eyes comes up and he wanted to talk to Aldo, and he like pats me and Joe on the back, and he's like, "Hey, and then he goes and sits down with Aldo, Joe, and I are kind of like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
We were watching Bears training camp in Bourbonnais.
He got me a good 10 minutes or more with Tom Waddle straight up, like on his show. It was one of the first ones he did after he left the bar room, when it was just called Braggs in the Stands, I think.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, so he got me with Tom Waddle, like I said, at least 10 minutes or so, which was fun. So I want to, wish him well too, because Greg was always nice to me. I haven't heard from him in a really long time, but
yeah, I mean, he's always on Twitter. He's got remember when his Twitter account got suspended because he was taking too many pictures of Bears training camp.
Yeah, the Braggs rule.
The Braggs rule.
The Braggs rule. Right, exactly. I wonder if Greg, if you're listening, Greggy Sunshine, we love you. I don't know. I wonder how many people in the chat room knew that Greg Braggs used to be part of the bar room, though. But all right, 10 o'clock. Dan Aguirre's got to go to work at 10:30, unless he's off tonight.
Unfortunately, I am not. So
all right, and how is work going?
That's same old, same old. I'm building up to 1 month from tonight. I got a festival in Ohio called Incarceration to go to. Again, I leave 1 month from tonight, so I got that to look forward to. Working a bunch of overtime in the meantime to enjoy myself for that 3 days of really, really good fucking metal, man.
Nice. That's the concert coming up, right?
Yeah, I'll send you a screenshot if you want to.
What? Who's playing?
That's what I'm saying. I'll send you a screenshot of it.
Some of the acts.
I'm working on it right now.
Nice. And what about any new girlfriend or?
No girlfriends to tell you about.
Nothing.
I can't say that I'm not saying I haven't gotten any or anything like that. I don't have a girlfriend.
Okay.
But there's nothing really to share per se, except the screenshot for this concert, which I'm excited about. And
All right, I gotta drop that. Did you text that to me?
I did.
All right, let me.
No sex life to talk about right now, but I am excited about the show.
Whoa, dude! All right, hold on. I'm gonna drop this up into the computer.
Do it.
And then load it up into the old. It's like just so slow. I mean, even though it's AirDrop, it's like it takes a while for them to talk.
While you're doing that, Tooch, Vegas won the Stanley Cup.
All right, so someone new.
So
what was the final score on that one?
The final score on the Stanley Cup, I just had it in front of me, and now it's 9-3. Oh my God,
man,
Damn,
9-3,
dude.
man. If you had told me 12 goals, I'd have never believed you.
And they won their first Stanley Cup at home on the Las Vegas Strip. That city's going nuts tonight.
Oh shit!
Wow.
I wish I was in Vegas right now.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, any trip to Vegas coming up?
I don't have any Vegas trips coming up. I'm going to take off that graphic while we talk.
Yeah.
No Vegas trips, but I did talk with Vinny yesterday. We're going to try to go see a Golden Knights game next year.
Okay.
That's my high school's name, the Golden Knights.
I love that name.
I didn't know there was a Golden Knights in hockey until tonight because I'm not an NHL kind of guy.
Yeah, they're the Las Vegas Golden Knights. It was their 6th year as a franchise, and they won a Stanley Cup.
Wow, that's awesome.
Against another team that has never won a cup either, the Florida Panthers. So either way, you were going to have a new cup champion that never had a cup.
Guaranteed.
It's exciting.
All right.
I like when that shit happens.
Here's the
Incarceration.
lineup. Limp Bizkit, Pantera. Man, I would love to see Pantera. And Des Moines' own Slipknot. Aaron?
Yeah. You want me to run down some of these? I was fortunate enough to see Pantera in their original with Dimebag and Vinny back in 01 with Slayer and Static X.
Nice.
So for me, it'll be my second Pantera show. Be like my 10th or 11th Slipknot, 10th or 11th Lamb of God, 3rd Limp Bizkit. Like I really want to see Cold Chamber. That was one of my favorite bands in the late 90s, and they broke up and are back together now. I like Bush a lot on Pussies and the band, so I can say that.
I know you like Bush.
Right, but I always am down to see Bush. I've seen In This Moment a lot, too, because my ex-wife loved them, and I've met Maria Brink as a result of that. And Hatebreed. I haven't seen Hatebreed since 09, so I'm looking forward to that.
I've heard of Hatebreed.
You've never heard of Hatebreed?
I haven't heard them since then. I've fucking seen Hatebreed like 6 times. But
okay,
it's
cool.
been a minute, dude.
Do you like Slipknot?
Oh, I love Slipknot. Absolutely.
They're from Des Moines.
I know. Now, my friend Jeremy is going to want us to watch Megadeth, and I just don't like Megadeth, so I'm probably going to go from Bush to Slipknot.
So I got to tell you, when I was in high school and in junior college, I love that album Rain and Blood, Slayer.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good. And I'll be like, well, I've been listening to this, I'll be like, am I going to hell? Fuck. Because it was so heavy, man. It was so, just like, it's like hammers and, fucking really.
So many people hate Limp Bizkit. And I like Limp Bizkit. I don't give a fuck if it makes me look soft to somebody or whatever, but it's always fun. I always have a good time in a Limp Bizkit show.
I think that album was like 1988, Rain and Blood.
What? Rain and Blood's 86. 88 was South of Heaven.
Okay. 86, Rain and Blood, 88, South of Heaven. So, like I said, 86 senior year of high school for me. 88 was like I graduated from junior college. But,
that's the year I was born, Tooch.
I know, that's why you're my radio son.
88, same here.
Well, I was born in 80, John, so goddamn it.
Nice.
I had the Slayer cassette tape when they were just born. I was learning my way.
At 6 years old, Dan's family got him Rain and Blood for his birthday.
No, I didn't get them probably till about 89 or so because my sister liked metal, so she was 5 years older than me, born in 75, and got me into I loved the Metallica and Justice for All cassette tape. I just wore it out. So
yeah.
there was a couple of guys that were trying to fuck my sisters back then. I didn't realize that at the time, but they were like, hey, so if you like Metallica, you'll really like Slayer. You know, and I was like, I really like Slayer. You're right. So, but it was just from a couple of dudes that were like, yeah, if you like Injustice for All, you're going to really like this. So,
yeah, man, I remember 83, I think, was Kill 'Em All, Metallica. And I remember
I just don't. I have to confess, I don't like Metallica as people. Like there's footage of James Hetfield like mocking Kurt Cobain as soon as he died, saying like, "What color were Kurt's eyes? What blue? Because one blew this way and one blew that way." And it's like, why would you say that? And
at the same
then
time, it's like, how long ago was that? How old was he?
Well,
like,
I'm just saying that they've always been bad guys. Is what I'm saying. Lars with Napster and the way they forced Jason Newsted out of the band. They had a 3-way deal. And first off, how would Metallica react if I mocked Cliff Burton dying? You know, I mean, they're always stuff, cliff them all. But they brought Jason Newsted into the band, and even though he was there from like 87 on, he was their bass player replacing Cliff Burton. But he didn't even have a deal to where he was getting paid anything like they were getting paid. So initially, he joined another band in like 2002.
They swapped with Ozzy, did they? Because basically Jason went to work for Ozzy because Robert Trujillo was working for Ozzy.
He quit, man. He quit.
I thought they swapped them basically.
He quit because of Hetfield. James Hetfield gave him an ultimatum. This is available on YouTube. I'm quoting Jason Newsted myself.
Yeah.
Newsted said that he needed money, so he joined another band. And he was going to be the front piece of them, or at least, you know, because he had notoriety. And James Hetfield came up to him and said, so are you guys going to be selling shirts and shit? And he was like, well, yeah, we hope. He's like, well, that doesn't work. If you're in Metallica, you're in Metallica. You can't do any other work. So he was like, you're giving me an ultimatum? And James was like, yes. So he said, well, fuck it. I'm leaving then. Mm-hmm. And he stood on principle and told him to go fuck himself because he had been with them over a decade and still wasn't getting paid what the rest of the band was getting paid.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man. I just think they're fucking assholes, man. Like, I don't want to like their music, but they're talented, and I do like a lot of it. There's a lot of their shit that I don't like, but I don't want to like them, but they're good. And I don't like Dave Mustaine either. I don't like Dave Mustaine either. Of course, he's still bitching about getting fired from Metallica 40 years later.
Was that was their first album too, right? Kill 'Em All.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember when that album came out, man. I'd never heard anything like it. And I was like, "Whoa, this really is hard," you know. Same with like the Slayer "Rain and Blood" album, man. Like I said, I thought I was going to hell after I listened to that one, Danny. My immortal soul is doomed.
I never believed in hell, so.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So Slayer. We talked some Slayer. We talked some Metallica. Man, I remember when I was 16 years old, there used to be this metalhead that I worked with at the grocery store in Naperville. It's like his name was Dave Zabosnik, and he was like a big old metalhead. He played this band called Man of War.
Fuck yeah.
He played the song. I forget the name of the song, but it was like, what lyrics were, burning, death, destruction, raping the daughters and wives. In blood, I take my payment. In full with their lives. I can't remember the name of it, but I saw him singing that with him in the bottle shed at the grocery store. But I can't remember the name of that song. It was freaking killer. Man of War. I wonder if they're still playing jobs.
Hail and Kill, Tooch. Does that sound familiar?
Is that the name of the album?
The album's called Kings of Metal.
Kings of Metal. I don't know if that was the name of the one.
It came out in 88.
Could have been. No, this would have been before then. Because this would have been like 84. Was when I was working at the grocery store. So maybe
Battle Hymns. Does that sound
Battle
right?
Hymns? That's it. Battle Hymns. Like, what's the second song on Battle Hymns? First or second song? What was the name on the?
It's called Battle Hymns.
Is there a track listing?
Hang on. Metal Days, it's called.
Metal Days. What about the second song?
Dark Avenger.
Dark Avenger. That's it. Dark Avenger by Man of War. They got the best lyrics. Hilarious. Does Dan know Man of War?
I do not.
Oh, okay. You'll have to listen to that. Dark Avenger by Man of War. Tonight when you're working. Play that one. Any weird tales from work 911? Recently?
God.
Not really, huh?
Not recently. I mean, I could conjure up stories from my tenure easily, but nothing specific in the past. Recently, I mean.
Right.
Like I remember, this is
Yes.
absolutely true. A guy calls in, swear to you. He's like, yeah, my dad is, he's acting crazy, man. He's threatening. And again, this guy's saying this deadpan. Like, it's like what he's saying is the most rational thing you've ever heard. It's like, he's like, yeah, so my dad is so mad. I'm not really sure why he's that mad at me. I mean, okay, I came on his shirt, but it's not that big of a deal. And this is a grown man, by the way, not a teenager. He's like, so I came to his house and I was jacking off and I came on his shirt and now he wants to fight me. I need the police.
I mean, really, who everything about that's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. I swear on my mother's grave, that's a true story.
It's just
Right.
another day in West Virginia, right?
I mean, no one likes to come on their shirt, especially when it's their son.
Or anybody else's cum for that matter.
Yeah.
This is true.
Or any cum, period. Could you imagine
That
being
shit-
at work
that
and it was like,
shit
oh shit, I came on my shirt and I didn't notice it. Like, you'd be mortified, right?
The movie This Is the End. Did you guys see that movie with
I did because of you.
what's that guy's name? Danny, the actor who played Kenny Powers.
Oh,
Yeah.
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride. He's like, I came all over this place. It was like John.
He was one of the writers of the last Halloween trilogy, actually.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, they were like,
That
he was
same
like,
company,
And he
That
writes
same
Righteous
company that-
Gemstones.
that same company that brought back those Halloween films are pushing out 3 sequels to The Exorcist beginning in October.
wow, nice.
Jesus Christ.
Because
Hollywood
Stephen
is
Moore
out
and
of
Exorcist
ideas.
shit.
Danny Stephen Me says that call was confidential, Dan, between you and him.
I'm sorry, Steve.
Hilarious. Yeah,
Like something about Mary.
everyone in This Is End hated Danny because he was jerking off with James Franco's Hustler magazine or Penthouse or whatever it was. He was like,
Yeah.
I came all over this. I come all over you.
Pages are sticking
That movie,
together, man.
pound for pound, that movie is one of the funniest movies I've seen in a long time.
God, have you seen the show yet with Johnny Depp's daughter in The Weekend?
I heard it sucks.
Oh man, they really simulated her sucking his dick, like, and it sounded just like it. I mean,
Wow.
obviously they could have taken the audio from a porn, but
Yeah.
she was like choking and slobbering on it and everything. Like it.
Well,
I thought the
I'm
second
definitely
episode-
not watching it now.
I thought the second episode was much better than the first one, though.
So we're might as well talk some TV. Anybody watching anything good? Because
We're putting the band back together.
yeah, little Danny watching anything good?
Like I said, I watched the first 2 episodes of the show The Idol, which I just referenced, and I'm
Okay.
watching Seth Rogen's show on Apple Plus called Platonic. Again, if you like Seth Rogen, you'll enjoy this show. It's Seth, man. It's the same kind of. You could
Yeah.
say he's one-dimensional in some areas in that regard, but
Mhm.
if you like his humor, the show's good. Beyond that, I've been watching just a plethora of old Bears games because Ron, who was
nice.
supposed to join us,
Yeah.
said he was jet lagged he just came back from Europe and just didn't feel up to it.
Ron
Totally
Ross.
understandable.
I've been recording games for Ron. Literally,
Nice.
he wanted 80 games.
Which Ron?
80. So I've made 65 of them or so in the last month or so. I'm working my way
Wow,
up to
man.
finish them for him.
Nice.
And then he's supposed to hook me and Aldo up with Bears Raiders tickets, third row for free.
Yes.
So
Are we talking
Nice.
about Ron Rupp now?
no, his
talking-
last name starts with an M. I forget. I always forget his last name. I don't mean any disrespect. Let's see. I'm looking at it's spelled Milazzo. Milazzo?
Oh, okay. All
He
right.
still says he's going to join us at some point. It just today didn't work out. He owns a restaurant, and from talking to him, Ron grew up, in the area, and
Nice.
had to move to Wisconsin when he was like 16 or something. So he's been
Wow.
surrounded by Packer fascists for the last
Oh,
30 years.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, stuck while around Green Bay fans, but he's they're a season ticket holder though at Soldier Field. So, and they're in the
And,
third row.
what's his restaurant called?
I should have asked him that, but it's in Wisconsin. So
It's in
I'll never
Wisconsin.
be there unless for some reason I'm with him at a Bears Packers
Yeah.
game up there, because I don't want to go to Wisconsin. No disrespect to the people there, but
And any movies?
I still
Yeah.
want to watch that one. If you all can tell me if it's any good, the one that we like from Euphoria that has the big tits to play Cassie.
Ooh, I love her. But
Oh,
I
on
don't know
HBO.
Yeah, she's got a
HBO
movie where
Max.
she
She's a
carries
soldier,
the film.
right?
I forget what it's called. They just dropped it when Max came out, like versus HBO Max. Yeah, she's the lead star in it. I can't remember what it's called. I haven't seen it. I'm going to watch it just for her breast, though. I'm going to be completely real with you.
Yes. Yep. Yeah,
I have it right
better
here.
reason.
The name of the film is Reality.
Yeah, that's it. I was going to say Revenge. for some
Sydney
reason.
Sweeney, is that her name?
Yeah.
Something Sweeney. She's
It's
so
based,
beautiful.
It's based on
Yeah.
the FBI interrogation transcript of an American intelligence leaker, and basically,
Oh, Reality Winner.
yes,
Yeah, the girl's name was Reality Winner, who leaked the top secret information and is in jail now, I believe. Yeah,
and
Reality
that's
Winner.
that's
okay.
her. That's who she plays. So it looks good.
Wow.
I'm going to have to watch that.
Joey
I saw
Mandel. What'd you see recently?
I saw in the movie theater. You guys are familiar with Burt Kreischer?
Oh yeah.
I
You went and
saw,
the
I saw
Machine?
The Machine.
Nice, dude. How was that?
Stand-up comedian. If you guys aren't familiar,
Okay.
Burt Kreischer's got a stand-up routine called The Machine. It's about how when he was in high school, he went on a trip to Europe and got involved with the Russian mob. It's a hilarious story. If you haven't listened
True
to it,
story.
Whoa, nice.
That's
Listen
where
to
he
the
got his
stand-up.
start, actually. Before he was like even halfway famous, he was kind of friends with Joe Rogan. And so, like, on the super early of the Joe Rogan podcast, Joe's like, "You get Bert, you got to tell the story." And he's like, "I'm not going to tell the story. Nobody's going to fucking believe me." And Joe Rogan's like, "You have to tell the story." So on the Joe Rogan podcast, he tells the story about the machine where I think it was actually in college. And he, not official joins the Russian mob and him to get into hijinks with them. And that's how he got his like big blow up start, and everybody loved it. So like every single time he's live, he has to tell the machine story.
And this movie is it's about like current day Burt Kreischer and how the Russian mob comes back to get him at his daughter's birthday party.
That's hilarious.
And they kidnap his dad as well, who's played by Mark Hamill in the movie. And there's lots of guns and violence and getting shot and hilarity. It was really good.
Very cool.
It's worth a good laugh. I mean, is it the greatest movie you've ever seen? No, but it was a good time. So I enjoyed that. Tooch just fell off, and so that's all good. But I also recently are watching, and Dan, you have Apple TV Plus. You were mentioning. I don't know if you've watched Shrinkage on Apple TV Plus. It's got Jason Segel and Harrison Ford.
Love from Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah, and basically that him and Harrison Ford play psychiatrists, and it's just kind of about their life. And basically, Jason Segel's wife had passed not that long ago, and he's trying to get back into favor with his daughter, and he's finally starting to tell people what he really thinks as a therapist, like, you know, kind of going off the hinge, like, you should leave your husband, you should, you know, do this, do that. It's a really, really funny show. It's a dramedy, but it's got a lot of good funny humor in it.
The what's that called again?
It's called Shrinkage.
I think I would watch it. I like Jason Segel a lot. I kind of didn't know where he went.
You would like it, Dan. If you like Jason Segel, it's really, really good.
I do. I don't really like a lot of network TV, but I even caught myself watching that How I Met Your Mother show sometimes just because he was on it.
Yeah, it's excellent. Highly, highly recommend.
I don't have a lot of spare time for shows right now, but I will probably check that out then. Like I said, I only added Apple TV for the Seth Rogen show. It's called Platonic. That's the reason I added it, and I don't plan on keeping it that much longer. But again, I would watch the Jason Segel show too, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, so you'll enjoy it, Dan. So he said Shrinkage. It's a pun, according to Cliff.
I'm not sure what happened to John, but he said that StreamYard crashed, and I said, no, we're on.
Yeah,
Just crashed for you, Tooch.
he's texting me. He's like, "Did it crash?" I'm like, "No, we're still on the air. Maybe Tooch's internet just crashed."
Yeah, maybe.
But that's some stuff I watched. Aaron, anything new with you?
But we finished season 9 of The Blacklist, and
This man loves The Blacklist.
yeah, man, I fucking love that show. I don't know where to watch it. Season 10, I think at this point it's maybe 3 episodes out from finishing this last season. And it's like you can buy the last season for $30. I'm like, I'm not gonna spend $30 on something I'm gonna watch once. But we watched the fucking phenomenal show like Dan said. It's awesome show. I can't get enough of it. But the other night we watched the movie Plane with Gerard Butler and Michael Coulter. And anything Gerard Butler's in, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. And it's a fucking ton of fun. It's a really good movie. So basically the whole premise of the movie is he's, obviously a pilot. He's got a skeleton crew and just a handful of passengers. And there's Michael Coulter plays a convict that they're transporting. And then the plane gets struck by lightning and goes down in an island, and I think in the Philippines that isn't government run. Rather, it's just like a bunch of different militias. So they get kidnapped, and Michael Coulter and Gerard Butler have to save the day. And it's so good. It's Dude, a lot of fun.
This sounds like the most Gerard Butler movie ever.
Yeah, basically. It's the nice thing about it is I don't think he wasn't military. But he's just a pilot. Like Michael Coulter was like the dude. So like obviously there he is. There's two. If Gerard Butler's in it, he's going to be one of the badasses. But I thought it was a ton of fun.
We had a Amazon Web Services, like whatever, trouble in Iowa today. So I don't know if that's had something to do with it.
No.
But I do have Google Fiber. I don't know, maybe some there, but booted me off and I couldn't reconnect to StreamYard.
Well,
but Danny's getting ready to go. What did I miss?
I talked a little bit about Shrinkage on Apple TV Plus, which is an excellent show.
Is that Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford, Jason Segel, good stuff.
Oh, nice, love Jason Segel.
Aaron talked about a new Gerard Butler movie called Plane, where he basically takes on a whole militia by himself.
Yeah,
Michael Coulter.
Saw that.
Michael Coulter, yeah.
Yeah,
that's where we are.
Right on. I watched the newest Avatar, and I didn't like it.
Okay. I have to be careful what I say because my wife's a huge fan. It's literally the same movie as the other one, just a different setting and different characters.
Yeah, they just delayed the next 3 after today. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't. Yeah. Well, because it's Disney, isn't it? Is it Disney?
Yeah,
it's Disney. Disney's delayed fucking everything because Disney's in hot water.
Well, it got delayed. All the Marvel movies got pushed back.
Yeah, Marvel fucking sucks, and Star Wars fucking sucks, and anything.
Why do they push everything back? I don't know.
I'm sure the writers' strike has something to do with it.
Because they've lost like 2.4 billion or million subscribers at the end of last year. They're hemorrhaging money. Literally,
what's the story?
It's the writer's strike. It's got to be the writer's strike.
No, it wasn't. Their content is shit. Like everything they're putting out anymore, nobody wants to watch it anymore. Like I know a bunch of people, myself included, Marvel fans, like I'm not watching any of this garbage. It just seems like people aren't into whatever Disney's putting out anymore. So
the new Guardians was fantastic. I saw that.
Yes, it was. But that was old guard though. That was James Gunn. I loved that movie. I thought it was great.
I gotta see that. I'm dying to. I saw the Ant-Man and the Wasp 3. That was awful. Although it did have Bill Murray in it. It's like a surprise. He had a cameo of Bill Murray playing an alien. Kind of funny.
Marvel's, and you know what the nice thing about it, I think we've talked about it, or at least I've talked about it, is after Endgame, I'm like, okay, that's it. I don't need any more of it. It's anything after this that I enjoy is a bonus. And it just almost everything. Spider-Man was good. Guardians was good. But I mean, like aside from that, man, Marvel's just crap. It's just the way that they've taken the studios, the different characters they're doing, and like trying to push this other stuff. It's just like it just sucks. Marvel just sucks anymore. Well, okay, let me say Disney Marvel, because when Marvel was the shit. Obviously, box office blowing up everywhere, billions of dollars in records. But then Disney got their hands on it. It's like, okay, well, they're old characters. We're gonna make them seem stupid. We're gonna push these other characters.
We got the Flash coming out this weekend.
I'm actually going to see that on Sunday. We're taking my father-in-law to see it.
Wow.
So he wanted to go see it, so we'd go see it.
Has anybody been watching Silo on Apple TV?
I've heard it's excellent. I've not.
I've never heard of it.
It's really good. Really enjoying
Rebecca
it.
Ferguson, right?
Not for everybody. Yeah. And then my wife had never seen a movie called The Gray with Liam Neeson.
A good movie. Anything with Liam Neeson in it's good, though.
Yeah, that was excellent, man. It's almost
Not
a
those
perfect
Taken
movie, man.
films.
Yes, Taken.
Danny, did you see The Gray?
I didn't, but I like some of Liam Neeson's older work when he started becoming like
Taken.
the tough guy that's like, I've got a special set of skill. Like he's a caricature of a
Can you
caricature
can you
now.
please let me do that speech as Kermit the Frog right now, because I really want to. Hang on.
Listen,
I have a very particular set of skills. I will find you and I will kill you. Hello.
Please give me some Kermit hitting on Miss Piggy.
Hey-oh. Hi, Miss Piggy. Look at that fat ass. Hey-oh.
On that note, gentlemen, I have to go. It's been my pleasure talking with you all. Like
too,
you said,
man.
a reunion
Yeah,
thing
Danny.
that was cool.
Check out The Gray if you get a chance. You're going to really enjoy it.
All right. But like I said, if you all would ever want to do the other show again, I'm open to it. And,
yes, sir. That'd be dope.
and it was
Sounds
great
well
talking to
planned,
everybody,
brother.
for real.
Nice catching up, Dan.
Take it easy, dude.
Yes, sir. I hope to meet you in October.
I will be there.
I'll have a
Nice.
picture with you then.
I will
Yes.
drive out.
I'll have another one with you, Tooch.
All right,
I think
Danny,
we've
have a
had
good
like
one.
2 or 3 photos together now, but I'll
Yeah.
take another one.
All right.
All right,
Excellent.
gentlemen.
Have a good one. Good night.
You too, Dan.
Thank you.
Fellas, before we get out of here, any thing you want to say? Shout out any recommendation, Aaron Mikulski?
No recommendations, honestly. Just shout out to Barkeep. Hope he's doing well. I've talked to him in a little bit, but seems like he's hopefully take the night off to recuperate or whatever. I'm happy to be with you guys, but yeah, shout out to the Barkeep.
All right, and, Joe Mandel, all those recent predicaments.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay.
I'm always wishing him well, and I know he can take some time off here and there. It's all good. And the man needs to enjoy the fruits of his labor, his grandchild, all that fun stuff. And
Before we leave, we got to talk a little St. Joe's.
okay,
Like,
sure.
Are you enjoying it there? Like when I went there, it was nice. It was
I love it.
summertime. We went to I want to say it's like a chocolate shop ice cream shop, a famous. I
Yes,
think it
there's
begins
a bunch of them downtown St. Joe.
Yeah, but it's like they have like Hershey's ice cream and stuff. I forget the name of the famous shop. It's not far from the lakefront. God, I can't remember.
Kilwins, you talking about?
They make fudge and stuff there.
Yeah, you're probably talking about Kilwins.
It's probably Kilwins. They got like a little ice cream counter. You could sit inside a little chairs,
Yep,
or
you're talking
sit
about
outside.
Kilwins.
It's like on a side street kind of.
Yep.
Yeah, and then there's around the corner. There's like the main strip of shops
Exactly.
and restaurants and stuff. Okay, so Kilwins. That's where I went when I was there.
Then you can go down the
love-
stairs to the water. Yeah.
Love that area. Yeah. How are you liking it? You like being on the lake?
I love it, man. I'm about 10 minutes away from the water,
Nice. Yep.
It's a gorgeous area.
Got a little beach area there to take the
Oh, it's
kiddo.
a beautiful beach, Silver Beach by in St. Joe. It's
Right.
gorgeous.
And how old is your daughter now?
She's almost a year and a half.
Wow. Very cool.
She's
Very cool,
walking,
yeah.
talking, running all over the place. It's awesome.
Right. I just had one of mine just turned 7, waiting for the other one to turn 5 on July 7th. So got some birthdays coming up and stuff. My wife's
God bless
birthday is
you,
this
man.
weekend. Got to shout out the wife. Maida will be
Happy birthday, Maida.
She's got to share her birthday with Father's Day, unfortunately. Sorry, baby. But,
She'll be 27 years old this year.
Right.
right. And I don't know. We're gonna do something special. I think going out here. I know. I don't know if Aaron knows steak de Burgo. It's like an Iowa thing. Dish, probably
Nope.
Des Moines thing. Dish was invented here.
No, I haven't heard of that one.
It's like filet mignon with like a garlic butter and
Ooh.
mushroom and cream sauce. A famous local dish. I haven't had. I've lived here for 4 years now. But
You'll be giving your wife a dish with cream, though.
Yes.
Put
Oh,
it.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Even though Dan, I'm going to keep it rolling.
My wife was
Sorry,
like,
man. You set
uh,
yourself up for
she's-
that one. Sorry.
She's leaving for work soon here, but she was like, "Hey, honey, do you think we for my birthday we get a hotel room? Because the kids are always around. It's like really hard to have some boom boom, and stuff."
Have
And I
some
was
boom
like,
boom.
like, if your wife texts you, like, how would you answer? And I had to answer with a gift, Joe. Of course, I'm like, shout out Joey Mandel for my radio son. My radio son for coming back.
Yeah, man.
Visit.
I'm happy to. Thanks for extending the invite, man. I had a good time. Fun stuff.
Yeah, it was fun. Aaron Mikulski for jumping in last minute because Barkeeper couldn't make it today. I was coming back. I had a last week off, so I had some Bears State of Affairs material saved up. Of course, stadium battles raging in the news and whatnot. Joe, it's 4-0 now. Dodgers over the White Sox.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here real quick, White Sox question, buyers or sellers at the trade deadline?
Sell. But the division sucks so bad. I mean, if they get the right offer, they might be able to have a shot. But they did get the good news back about Liam Hendricks today, though. The elbow inflammation there's no structural damage, which is good news.
Yeah. Great guy too, Liam Hendricks.
And of course, great story. Come back from cancer and playing.
Great story as well.
But they should trade Tim Anderson.
We're almost to the All-Star break. Any picks for the World Series this year?
Yeah, I do. It's probably not an exciting pick for anybody, but
two teams, AL and NL.
NL, you know what? I'm going to throw it up. I'm just going to go crazy here. I'm going to go with. I think the Tampa Bay Rays are good enough to get there, so I'm going to go.
The AL,
I'm going to go Tampa Bay in the AL, and National League. I'm not going Dodgers, that's for sure. I just don't see it happening. I'm going to go with the Braves.
Got to be the Braves with that pitching staff. That'd be.
But I tell you what, the Marlins are a sleeper team, though. They're really good.
They are. They're hot right now. You gotta look at the Tampa Bay Rays, but man, I'll tell you, two teams that have been surprising. Actually, three teams have been surprising in the majors: the Diamondbacks, the Rangers, and the Orioles. Man, those teams are clobbering the hell out of the ball.
Orioles are one of the. I wanted to say the Orioles so bad in the World Series. I just don't think
their starting pitching is terrible. Their starting pitching is terrible. Bullpen is decent though, but
their trade deadline could change that too. So
yeah, very true, very true. Man, it's gonna be exciting. Go ahead.
I just want to take the moment real quick while we're talking baseball to do a shameless promo for our South Burbs Hitmen show coming up on Monday. I don't know if you're familiar, Tooch. I don't know if you've seen across Major League Baseball all the stories about the iPitch machine. I'm not sure if you've seen anything about it.
No,
a lot of ball clubs are using a new machine called the iPitch. Wow. It's really smart. It can throw all the different pitches. You can have it go to your cold zones, to your hot zones. You can work on pitches that you're not good at. You can set it to random.
You got the inventor of the iPitch machine coming on.
We have the president of Spinball Sports coming on the show next week to talk about the iPitch. South Burbs Hitmen Monday night here on the Ballroom Network, 8 p.m. Central.
Man, I would have loved to have had that when I was coaching Little League. It would have been awesome.
Just wait till you look at the price of the machine, Tooch. None of us would have had one. But I'm really excited to have him on the show. And
very cool.
There's been some hot takes across baseball, like Ozzie Guillen ripped guys that use it. I don't understand the whole thought process behind ripping guys because they're just trying to get better. But why not use technology to better your game? But anyway, if you want to learn more about the iPitch, tune into South Burbs Hitmen Monday night, 8 p.m. Central.
Very cool.
We talk White Sox baseball all year long. And, of course, Tooch will be back talking fantasy football.
That's it.
Every Sunday, Fantasy Football Goon coming up here probably late August.
Right on. All right, fantasy football. If anybody likes fantasy football, we gave out tons of winners last year, man.
Yes, we did.
Every weekend. And Aaron Mikulski, thanks again for joining us, man. Love having you.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for taking me to that awesome restaurant in Council Bluffs when I went out to see you. Best wings in the world, man. I'm telling you. All right. Let's get out of here, friends. What do you say, Joey?
Absolutely. We'll get out of here. Aaron, real quick, just wanted to say, Aaron, pleasure hanging out with you again, man. And
me too, man.
We'll have to hook up and play some Diablo 4 on PS5.
That sounds dope. Nice. Absolutely.
Excellent. All right. For everyone here and all the barflies and all the Gandia, I want to say good night. We'll see you back next Tuesday. Thanks.